Hello Aries, and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, looking at your connection to the person that you are dealing with and needing to learn the most from right now. We are looking at all three sides of the connection. We've got your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it, the concept being that there are three sides to every story. So we're looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. This middle section looking at what is the deeper purpose of this connection and what is the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. As I do in all of my readings, I've pulled the overall energy and clarified those messages as well as the overall theme for the reading, which I'll jump into in just a second, but I still have a different tarot deck we'll be using for each side of this connection that we'll be diving into, as well as this advice deck that I have to close out the reading with in the extended. Any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading with me is in the description box below. Last thing, please remember that these are general readings. They are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. On that note, these energies can be swapped. So this whole reading can be reversed. If that is the case for you, that is totally fine and totally normal. Again, the point is to take what resonates and helps and leave the rest. All right, Aries, on your side of this connection, you have I need to reach out with the Page of Cups in reverse. I feel as if there's kind of this desire to, here, just like let this person hear it. Now, it doesn't necessarily need to be anger. I just feel as if you have this, this desire to tell this person how you feel or let them know what you're thinking or to try to get through to them. But then with the Page of Cups in reverse, it's almost like you feel like you wouldn't be heard. So I don't know if you hold back or if you have reached out and you feel as if you were kind of just met with emotional unavailability, lack of understanding, maybe even defensiveness. And I feel as if that's been quite difficult for you. Kind of knowing that, I don't know if there's like a lot unsaid or, I don't know. I just feel like overall, you feel like you can't get through to this person and you ultimately don't feel heard or understood at this time in this connection. Now, this person we outgrew each other with the Sun in reverse. So the way that I actually see this is you, I feel like, have outgrown this person. Now, I feel like, I don't know if this was a past connection that you kind of have outgrown, or I don't really know exactly what the past of this connection is. I feel like I'll have to get more insight into that when I dive into tarot. But I do definitely feel as if this person is coming very much from a place of ego. I feel as if they're looking at this connection because, when you grow and somebody else doesn't, they don't want to admit to themselves that they need to grow, right? Most people actually spend a majority of their life trying not to do the hard stuff, trying not to grow, trying not to better themselves because it's easier. Our self-sabotage and keeping ourselves stuck in places where we might be unhappy but feel comfortable is very good for our ego. Our ego likes what it can predict and can control. So I feel as if that's kind of where this person is at. It's almost as if there's this refusal to see something like anybody else's perspective but their own. And I feel as if that's why you feel like you're not being heard or understood, or like you can't maybe speak up with this person or be honest because you feel like it doesn't matter, like talking to a brick wall in a way. Now, in between this connection, you have lessons are being taught with the Knight of Swords in reverse. And I really feel like this is this connection has a pretty big purpose in your life, because I feel with the Knight of Swords in reverse, I feel like you've spent a lot of time chasing this connection, putting a lot of energy into it, trying to make it work, trying to, again, have this person kind of see your point of view, and it just feels like you've been left kind of empty-handed here. But there's a deeper lesson associated with that. And the overall theme for the reading is karmic path. So I do feel as if there's a karmic lesson associated with this connection, meaning that there's some sort of lesson that your soul is meant to learn this lifetime that is coming through in this connection. But let's jump in, Aries. Let's see what you are dealing with on your side of this connection. This is for Aries side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. It's funny because that strength card kind of poked out a little bit, but then it went right back in. I feel like you've been doing a lot of work kind of with this strength card here on taking your power back from this connection. I feel as if this connection took a lot from you, and you've been doing a lot to kind of maybe try to find yourself again or try to get back to yourself. Because the Three of Swords in reverse kind of indicates healing, doing a lot of healing, a lot of growth. Now, the growth and the healing that you've been doing is from a lack of reciprocation in this connection. And again, I feel like you've given a lot to this over time. And I keep saying like over time, I feel as if this connection has been in your life for a while. Maybe not, and it doesn't have to be, there's definitely a past in this connection. There's a past version of this connection and there's a current version of this connection. It doesn't mean that there had to be a separation between the past and the present. I just feel as if things are different now than they once were. But the whole connection, the dynamic was you giving a hell of a lot more than you were receiving. And I feel as if that, you know, when we're in those kinds of lack of reciprocation-esque connections, our soul, it takes a hit every single time. It's like, you give a little, you get a little less. It's like, ooh, okay, that kind of hurts. But then you give a little more, and then you get a little less, and then that hurts. And then it kind of builds. So I don't feel as if this was one of those connections where things were always wrong or there was always, you know, a struggle. I feel as if what happened in this connection definitely built up over time. And I feel as if that's been, then there's almost this like, feeling as if you're not understood, as if this person is refusing to see that they have treated you this way or acted this way, something along those lines. This connection has triggered you into taking your power back. It's almost like I hear kind of enough is enough. You kind of got to this point where you're like, no, like I'm not doing this anymore. But I feel, again, it's almost as if you had to reach a breaking point, or you're in the process of reaching that breaking point. That's what it feels like. It kind of feels like you reached a breaking point. I didn't get anything else from those cards. I just wanted to see. Four of Swords in reverse. You never felt like you had a teammate in this. I think that's the biggest realization, because the Four of Swords in reverse, it's kind of this feeling of being very burnt out, almost as if you bore the burden. You had carried the burden of this connection from the beginning. But again, it wasn't extreme in the beginning. It feels as if, like I said, it built up over time, but there was a lack of partnership here. It's almost as if it all fell on you. Like you were the person putting in the effort, you were the person initiating conversation or communication. Like it was always you. If it weren't for you, there wouldn't have been a connection, if that makes sense. It's almost as if there was, or there certainly wouldn't have been as strong of one, because I feel as if this person put in pretty bare minimum effort. But I don't know why. And it hasn't been always. It just feels as if this has been like, yeah, I don't know. hasn't been always in this connection. But I'm doing things a little differently this round. I'm going to hop over to their energy, and then I'll come back to you, and then back to them. But this kind of helps build the story out a little bit. This person's energy toward Aries. They have an altered view of the past. An altered, or like a, which we all do. I mean, we all want to see things through the lens of our own, or we all tend to see things through the lens of our own projection, right? So like what we want to believe, or, but it just feels as if they have this like, and that's why I feel like they don't hear you out, because it's almost as if they don't. How can I word that? It's like they choose to see things how they want to see them, not how they actually were or have been. So here's what I'm okay. So I feel like you kind of, you got to this point where you reached this breaking point because you were like, I can't keep doing this. And then you start maybe changing your behavior or setting more boundaries or standing up for yourself. And then this person's like, why are you changing all of a sudden? Why are things different? And you're like, they're not different. They've always been like this. I just can't continue to do this. And this person's like, no, there hasn't been a problem before. So why is there a problem now? And you're like, no, there's always been a problem. I just haven't, communicated or spoke up about it. And it's almost as if they're like unwilling to see things from your point of view. Altered view of the past. This person's energy. See, there's no progress coming from them. There's a lot of self-sabotage on their side of this. Now, not even necessarily just in terms of this connection. Like kind of just dealing with self-sabotage in general. Like almost staying where they've always been since you've known them. But you've progressed. You've grown. But they have not. And that's why in their mind, nothing's changed, because they haven't changed, but you have changed. Therefore, your outlook has changed. What you're willing to accept has changed. And it's almost as if they're so stuck in their own altered reality almost that they're not, I keep saying willing, but I almost feel able. Like it's like they're not able to see things from your point of view because they don't have the level of self-awareness necessary to do that. Because in order for them to understand your point of view, they would have to face things about themselves that they don't want to face. Unwilling to heal. Star in reverse, the need for quite a bit of healing, but it's almost as if they're choosing not to. Because there's the Two of Swords, like a choice. It's like they're choosing not to heal, choosing not to grow or evolve. This reading is similar to the, I think it was the Libra reading I did. If you're a Libra, or you have Libra in your chart, or you're dealing with a Libra, you could be a Libra as a cross watcher. or if you're dealing with, yeah. Maybe there's something for you in that video. There's a Libra reading from this round, so it would have been the January 2023 love readings. Okay, let me go back to you here, because I want to know what all of this means for you, like what the point is. So this is for Aries side of this connection. This is Aries side of the connection to the person they are dealing with. Ooh, so you've always seen them. You saw them through rose-colored glasses for a really long time. Like this Four of Wands to me, it's almost, it kind of looks like a painting on the wall. Like something, you painted them in a way that you wanted them to be. You saw them through these rose-colored glasses. You saw the good in them. You saw the illusion that you wanted to see in them, right? Because, you know, when we love someone, we only want to see the good. We only want to pay attention to the good. And it's almost as if you kind of ignored all the rest. You ignored the lack of reciprocation. Maybe you ignored some other bad habits or some other behavior because you didn't want to see those things. You only wanted to focus on the good for so long until it's almost like you, like, I still feel this, like, moment of, like, snapping out of it. Like, you were like, what am I doing? What, like, why am I allowing this? Why am I continuing to do this? Now you have lessons are being taught, but could be dealing with an air sign. Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. You don't have to be, though. I do feel as if you and this person are, like, there's distance between these two people. It doesn't mean that, like, this person's completely out of your life or anything. If there is communication, it's very minimal. But I do very much feel a distance between you and this person. You view it, like, there's definitely a separation for you. You feel emotionally distant from them as well. I'm interested as to, like, but I want to know what this all means for you. What's the point? Because you're probably like, yeah, I know these things. I'm living it. This is Aries side of this connection. So definitely, because of this breaking point, it's like, and that is what kind of led to this separation here. It almost feels like you stopped putting in as much effort, and like, or maybe like started to even match effort to them. You either like stopped putting in as much effort or started to match effort to them, and they were like, what the hell's going on? And you were like, nothing, I can't continue to do what I've been doing. And they're like, no, you're changing. You're like, yeah, because this is killing me. This feels like your energy. You want someone who can match you. That's what you're desiring. King of Wands with the Nine of Pentacles, because this feels like your energy in a way, but almost like the reflection of your energy. Like, you want someone who can match you energetically. And although there was a time that this person once did, since you grew, it's almost like you leveled up. They're obviously staying the same because they don't have this willingness to heal or to grow or to better themselves. And then now you guys are just missing each other. You're not on the same vibration anymore. So what you're desiring, Aries, is someone who can match you. And it's possible. I mean, we can have whatever it is we desire, but you don't think that that's possible with the Nine of Cups in reverse. And maybe because you haven't experienced it yet. Okay. Let's see. this person got going on and all this. There's something I'm missing. I feel like there's something that's needing to come through. I'm working on it. This person's energy toward Aries. Person's energy toward Aries. Judgment in reverse with the Ten of Wands in reverse, and then there's the Sun in reverse. So this is going back to this Judgment in reverse. Interesting that it's coming out in the same spot. But you have this Judgment in reverse. So this is kind of the energy of you seeing them through those lens of rose-colored glasses, which is why you took on so much of their burden. But with the Sun in reverse, it's almost as if they don't see that. Like they don't see what you did for them. They don't see how you sacrificed for this connection. It's like they don't, because then they'd have to admit their wrongdoing, right? They'd have to admit the ways that they self-sabotage. They don't want to see that. Just like you didn't want to see them for who they kind of really are, their true colors, they don't want to see themselves that way too. So, I think a lot of times when we feel as if we can get very frustrated when we feel as if someone isn't willing to admit that they hurt us or that they affected us in a negative way, and we can take that personally, and we can think that, it has to do with us. A lot of times when people don't want to admit the things that they've done to us, it's because they don't want to admit it to themselves, and that's their own personal battle that they're dealing with, that you're trying to get in the middle of, right? Karma is a very real thing, and this person is going to have to face the product of the ways that they act eventually. That's just the way that it goes. You can't control that. You can't control when it happens. But what you can do is try your hardest, honestly, to continue to do what I feel you've been doing, which is take your power of being happy and loved away from this taking the power for you to be loved and happy away from this person and putting it into your own hands. Because the more that you become your own best partner, the more that you're going to see that reflected in your relationships with other people, because we attract our relationship with ourselves in the form of other people. So if you're attracting, I think that seeing the good in people is both a blessing and a curse, because I think when we see the good in people, we have empathy for the ways that they act. It obviously, the world needs more love. The world needs more empathy and understanding for others. But sometimes we can have a tendency, you can be empathetic towards other people without taking on their stuff. And I feel like you had so much empathy for this person that you turn around and took on all their stuff. And then their internal battle became your internal battle, and you started taking it personally when this person wouldn't grow or heal or evolve because, well, it was kind of your battle too. But that just kind of, again, that left you drained and empty because of how that affected you over time. All right, this person's energy toward Aries. You've brought up a lot of insecurity for this person. Insecurity that they don't want to face. Insecurity that they don't want to face, which is why I feel there's no growth. The first step, if you think about like AA, right? The first step is admitting that you have a problem, right? That's the first step in any form of growth, is admitting that you need to grow. And that takes an immense amount of courage and self-awareness to be able to go, you know what? I need to change. Because so many people live their lives by the victim mentality and saying, you know, people hurt me all the time. This happens to me. I'm always, you know, the one getting hurt. It's always me. I always get left. I'm the victim. I'm the victim. I'm the victim. Because it is easier to blame other people and blame the world for your problems than it is to take accountability for the ways that you have played a role in your own suffering. Which is why a spiritual journey is so incredibly difficult, is because it is the process of learning how you've played a role in your own suffering so you can take your power back from the victim mentality and become in control of your own future and your own reality, right? This person, the first step is admitting that you have a problem. This person isn't willing to do that. So they have, you know, you've brought up a lot of fears and insecurities in this person, and they've protected it with their ego in some way, shape, or form. They've protected those fears and insecurities with their ego. Like, you know, I just feel like it's always like almost like, I'm not saying they're putting you down, but you see it a lot when people grow or change or evolve or do something that is different than what other people would do. The first thing that people do is judge them, right? They're so stupid, they're crazy, whatever the case is. It's because they're projecting their own inability to do the things that you're doing onto you. And that kind of just feels like what this person has going on. I'm not saying that's what they're like specifically doing, but it just feels as if they're kind of so caught up in their own reality of doing things that they're not seeing things from the point of view that would be necessary in order to come to like a healthy understanding in this connection that would allow you both to grow together. And I feel like that is something that you're going to have to recognize has nothing to do with you, which is difficult because we tend to take the way that people treat us personally, but the way people treat us is a direct reflection of what's going on with them, not what's happening with us. All right. One more. Stagnancy. Stagnancy. That's it. The Knight of Pentacles in reverse. Stagnancy. They're focusing on what doesn't matter. They've created this level of stagnancy in their life. This level of like growing sideways. You know, kind of like not actually evolving or growing or doing any real work, but kind of just like moving in the same direction almost. So they're not actually moving forward. They're kind of just staying where they're at. Like, what is a good example of that? A good example of that, and I'm not saying this is what's happening, but a good example of that is someone who isn't actually growing or evolving, but is working on doing things that make their ego feel good. So making a lot of money, or, you know, working to try to show the world that, I don't know, working on like how they look, or I don't know, like things that don't really matter, right? But none of the actual growth is taking place. Nothing is really actually changing. Things are just kind of changing on the outside. That it just kind of feels as if this person is like, yeah, they're focused on things that make their ego feel good because they don't want to face themselves. And that's what most people who don't want to face themselves do, is they try to cover it up with ego stuff, which is a karmic path within itself. Like, that'll eventually be something they have to learn from, but I don't know. I just feel like the biggest thing that this reading is kind of talking about for you, Aries, is there is this, you can't take it personally when somebody else is unwilling to grow. This is very much like the Libra reading. All right, I'm going to hop on over to the extended. You have lessons are being taught with the Knight of Swords in reverse. I'm going to pull 9 different messages, and then I have an advice card to pull for you at the very end. Thank you so much, Aries, as always, for your support of my channel. I obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, Aries, I wish you nothing but love and healing on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Aries.